Hello, everybody. Got another message for you. How many of you believe that you have figured it out what it means to truly accept Jesus Christ? Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. Some of you are probably thinking, I've been in church 50 some years. I know what I'm doing. I preach the gospel. I read the Bible. I go to church on Sundays and Wednesdays. I help my neighbor. I don't cuss. I don't break the commandments. I do what the book tells me to do. But there's a lot more to it than what you think when it comes to truly accepting Jesus Christ. Work with me a little bit on this, and you may learn something about yourselves. And don't feel bad or don't feel ashamed if you feel some sort of embarrassment or anger from the way it turns out for you in your mind, because number one, I won't be there and I'm not your judge, but I would like to give you a different perspective and a possible understanding of what it really means to accept Jesus. It's a lot more than just the gospel. It's a lot more than just giving your tithes and your offerings and doing good deeds and so forth. Right now, what I'd like for you to do is to think of someone, and it can be a relative, it can be a close family member, but if there's one person that you know of that you would deem as being your absolute favorite person, whether it be your wife or a child, grandbaby, neighbor, boss. Yeah, that's funny. People are going, it'll never be my boss, but that's okay. Uh, if you will, whatever person that would be, and it can be male or female, whatever, if you're a female and you deem your husband as being that one person that's closer to you than anybody, or if you're a man that's got a wife that you would do just about anything for, that's perfectly okay. Once you get them set in your mind, keep a focus on them. And I'm going to tell you a fable. Now, this is just a fable, but it's also a test that will prove to you whether you truly understand what it means to accept Jesus. You're sitting at a dinner table on what would be deemed as close to perfect as could be as far as humankind is. The meal's perfect, the time of day is beautiful, everything has went in accordance to its perfect timing. And I say that in the human sense because nothing on earth is perfect, only that which is in heaven is perfect. But we're as close to perfection as mankind can get here. And you're having dinner with this person, and everything is great. And then, for no reason, a man breaks in, someone that you've never seen before, and they have a power that you've never known. You try to fight with them, and they overpower you with an ability that can overcome you with little to no struggle. You would almost deem them as unstoppable. And this person, this man, this stranger, he overcomes you very quickly, and he ties you up into a position to where the only thing that you can do now is to watch what's going to happen next and cry about it, because you can't get loose. Nothing can get you loose. And this person is going to horribly violate the person you were having dinner with. It's going to be very vicious. It's going to be very hurtful. And you're going to not miss a single second of it, because they're going to make sure of it. They are evil. They are cruel. and it's like they are taking a vindication out on you. Why, you don't know. It almost pushes you to the point of near madness. And after this time goes by of the most horrific thing you were forced to watch, this man, this beast, disappears. He disappears like air, a shadow in bright light. He just vanishes. The person that you're with finds the strength to set you free. So you go to your closet, grab a shotgun, and you begin hunting for this individual because you have such rage about you. And you look high and low and all about, and this person is gone. He's history. So you start to piece your lives back together. And after a few months, you're sitting at home and the police finally arrive, and they come and they say, you're needed down at the courthouse. And so they drag you down to the courthouse, and as soon as you walk in, lo and behold, you see this man, this one that caused this terrible hurt to you. He is chained, and no one can get him loose. He's not escaping. There's no way out. And you start to feel a little bit of satisfaction. But you're told that you must participate in this trial. So as you participate, you give your accord as to everything that you witnessed, and you give testimony, which ultimately will convict this guy of everything said in this heinous incident. And it is extremely heinous. I don't even know if heinous would be a strong enough word for it, but let's try to keep it clean and Christian-like. Once the trial is come to an end, the judge looks at you and calls you by name, and he says, I've heard all of the testimony from all these different witnesses, but yours is the worst that I've heard. I can't imagine what you went through being forced to sit in such a position and watch the despicableness of this heinous crime. Therefore, to give you satisfaction, I am going to give you the power of the court. Whatever word comes out of your mouth to deem as his punishment, thus I will rule. If you deem him to be put to death, he shall be put to death. If you deem him to be tortured without mercy, he shall be tortured without mercy. Whatever words you speak is exactly what I will render as his punishment. So you think for a moment, and whatever you decide to tell the judge, it is completely up to you. Whatever response you have given the judge, I will give one that I have heard most commonly against the people that I've done this to face to face. Most people have said they want this prisoner to be publicly humiliated, tortured, and executed. And the judge looks back and says, draw another breath and tell me, what reason have you assigned to give such a terrible sentence for this despicable and heinous crime? Is it revenge? Is it justice? Or is it something else? And the judge reminds you, there's only enough room to write down one reason. You cannot make it a combination of revenge and justice. You cannot say a combination of anything. You have to pick only one. Some people have told me, very few have told me it was an act of revenge. Others, and the most of them, have told me it was an act of justice, so that this man can no longer go free. So as the judge goes to smack his gavel, another man walks in and interrupts the proceedings. This man you've never seen before, you've never heard before, and know nothing of. and he walks up to you and he says, I have heard everything that has went on in this courtroom. True, what this man did is very terrible, but I want his life. If you agree to give me his life, I will give you something far greater than what you have decreed for him as punishment. What do you say? Do you say yes or do you say no? Most people have responded, and I mean 9 out of 10 people. When I say most people, 9 out of 10 people have said no. They will not accept the blood or death of an innocent man, which is what this man is offering. He offers that to you. He said, I will give you the life of an innocent man and his blood in exchange for this man. And everybody's like, well, no, this innocent guy has done nothing. He's done absolutely nothing wrong. I can't take that. Sadly to say, for all of those people who have picked that, that is a very terrible answer. Because the man who made the offer was Jesus Christ. And the life that he offered was his. He died on a cross as an innocent man to pay for the sins of everyone. Your brother, my brother, me, a stranger, every person that lives on this planet. He died on the cross to erase those sins. And because you had refused, it means you do not accept Jesus for what he done. And you say it was because of justice. Jesus was crucified, beaten with a cat o' nine tails, tortured without mercy, crowned with a crown of thorns, blinded, beaten, spit on, ridiculed, you name it. You know the story. Where is his justice? What was his crime that was so unforgivable that he deserved all of that? For those who picked revenge, the same question. If it was revenge, where is the revenge for Jesus Christ? Because what again did he do to deserve to be treated that way? And why did no one rise up to avenge him? Why didn't he get vengeance? You see, neither answer is correct. What should have been done is when the judge gave you the power of the court, what you should have said, and only one person that I have met said this. One person said, I would turn him loose and forgive him. This is what Jesus wants us to do. This is what your mandate is. Because if you cannot forgive this prisoner for what he's done, then Jesus cannot forgive you. And it is written so in the Bible, to be merciful in order to obtain mercy, to forgive in order to obtain forgiveness. Because Jesus paid for everyone's sin. You, I, your neighbor, a stranger, and no one else has the right to hold an accusation against a transgression of your brother, no matter what it is. Jesus has taken that upon himself. Therefore, it's his to judge. It's his to decide. Now, I know how difficult that is. It is very difficult. But it's like a Jesus sandwich. You cannot just accept the bread. The bread would be the body of Christ. You cannot just accept the condiments, the mustard, the ketchup, the soy sauce, the mayo. You cannot just take that. You cannot just accept the garden, the lettuce, the onion, the pickle. You cannot just get it plain. You have to accept the meat with the blood. The whole sandwich comes together. And that is part of it. forgiveness and mercy is the biggest and the hardest part that we contend with, because we have an enemy that has a memory better than an elephant, and he will not let us forget. Lucifer will not let you lay it down. He wants to keep it fresh in your mind for all time, to make it impossible for you to walk away from it. And this is where we have got to be bigger than him and lay it down and say, he's forgiven, cast it away from ourselves, and give mercy and forgiveness. Therefore, when you stand before Christ and you are judged, Jesus will remember that you showed mercy to your brother, and you showed forgiveness to your brother, and he will remember to show that to you. It's as it's written, guys and gals. It is the word. And we know that Jesus does not lie. His death on that cross, his innocent life that was taken, paid for his right to make that judgment. And that's how he wants it. And that's how it should be. So remember that when you think from now on, I've got this under control. I go to church every Sunday. I preach the gospel. I read the book. I give my tithes and offerings. I give my green stamps to the March of Dimes, or whatever the phrases are that you do. Because it's not just about that. You have to embrace the entire gospel for what it's written. And it's with the heart that Jesus looks at. It's what's inside that he is seeking. So it's a bad sandwich, but we all have to take a bite, since we all are guilty of sin. And Jesus is the only one who sinned not, yet it was our hands that crucified him. It was our sin that caused him to suffer the way he did. Something for you to think about.